What's up, world? In partnership with Impact, taking it global and the Shamandi Foundation, N'we Jinan is proud to present to you the Windcarriers Challenge. This 20-week social media campaign is calling on all Indigenous youth and people in our network to create artwork at home and submit them for a chance to win prizes, including our grand prize, a brand new MacBook Pro. Tune in every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on all our social media platforms for a chance to learn techniques from professional artists every week. We will also be featuring some of our students who will be sharing their skills and talking about their experiences working within our programs. So get your beats ready and get those canvases primed. Make sure your camera's in focus as we move through this difficult time. The Windcarriers Challenge, here to bring you good peace of mind. There we go, everyone. Like to welcome everybody to the Windcarriers Challenge show, our weekly online response to COVID and social distancing. And we're just excited to be here on behalf of N'we Jinan. So my name is David Hodges. I'm your hostess of the mostest from coast to coast. Has been doing this since I guess this is the 10th week that we've been doing this, but we're just super excited to be here. Shout out to everyone that's tuning in right now. Definitely give us a shout out. Let us know where you're watching this show from. We're really excited for our today's guest to be on the show. We're going to get that into a moment. But I want to just, if this is your first time watching the Windcarriers Challenge, or you just started tuning in and getting connected to the artistic challenges that we've been putting out every week, let me just kind of break it down just a little bit for you. But before I do, my name is David Hodges. I'll give you a little introduction. David Hodges, co-executive director of InPath, focusing on outreach and partnerships. I'm here on behalf of N'we Jinan and all of the N'we Jinan programs. So some people might, we're trying to demystify a little bit. Some people have been asking a little bit about what is InPath? What is this organization? So essentially, InPath is our systems change non-for-profit organization that develops and supports our N'we Jinan programs. So all of the programs that people are familiar with, the Mobile Production Studio, MOOC Jam, N'we Jinan Integrative Arts Program, the N'we Jinan Festival and Youth Conference. These are all programs that N'we Jinan essentially offers. InPath is the organization that actually develop and support these programs. InPath also trains and supports an incredible roster of professional artists working within our programs. And so we're super excited to be able to bring on the artists that work within our programs that have their own artistic processes and practices as well. We bring them on every week to share some of their gems. But we also bring on youth that we've connected to through these programs and bring them onto the show to talk about their experience working within our programs, but then also about what they're up to. as emerging artists. And so we're really excited about that. But how did the Windcarriers Challenge show come about? Well, essentially every year we do a N'we Jinan festival and youth conference where we bring all of our youth together, and our artists and our stakeholders have a crazy massive celebration. Unfortunately, this year, due to COVID, we were unable to do so, but we still wanted to respond with something online. And so the Windcarriers Challenge was born there, essentially. So every single week on Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we host this show to bring on the youth, bring on the artists, but also deliver artistic challenges where you, the audience at home, could submit artwork and win prizes. Where are we hosting this? Well, we host this on our Facebook page where you're watching from right now. You may be watching on my personal pages as well, but if you want to get tuned into the actual stream, check out the N'we Jinan page right now. If you want to see some live comments, we got some people already tuning in here. We got Ashley Peters from Bridge River. I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. I'd say Whiston. Let's just say Whiston, Bridge River, BC. Shout out to our people from the West Coast tuning in right now. We got Ferdinand Jose. I'm watching you from Panama. We got people all the way in Panama watching right now. But definitely check out our social media platforms, also Instagram. We got both of our Instagram pages. And if you want to get tuned in to what we've been doing with Windcarriers Challenge, check out the hashtag Windcarriers Challenge. To get connected and to see what kind of work has actually been done already up to this point. We want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors, because without our sponsors, this would not be possible. Shout out to the Shamedy Foundation. So the Shamedy Foundation is a private family foundation based in Montreal, founded in 2015 with a vision of improving the lives of the younger generation so that they may have the opportunity of a brighter future. Shamedy Foundation gave us a bunch of money to be able to host this social media campaign. So we want to give them a huge shout out. And to our partner, Taking It Global. We love working with Taking It Global. They are one of the world's leading networks of young people learning about engaging with and working towards tackling global challenges. They have lots of amazing, engaging, and awesome programs, such as the Rising Youth Micro Grant Program, which is under Youth Action and Social Innovation. So if you are a youth between the ages, I believe, of 15 and 30, you can apply for micro grants on their website for projects in your own community. They also have Connected North, which is facilitated connected learning. Lots of interesting programs that they offer through that, but they also have Leadership Fund grants as well. So if you are a leader and a youth in your own community and you have some ideas that you want to bring to the table, Connected North is a great way to do so. But they also have Create to Learn, which is what our main partnership with them, which is essentially a fostering creativity and digital skills platform, digital app, essentially supporting Indigenous content creators to tell stories about their communities, share their skills to help people at home develop skills based on their skills, and to share opportunities with others. So we're really grateful for Taking It Global and all that they do for the world, and essentially with us too, because they're one of our partners. So we're really excited about that. We're going to quickly get into last week's challenge winners. So we actually switched up the challenge last week. We've kind of been doing weekly challenges, having a fresh challenge every week, but we essentially wanted to switch it up and offer the opportunity for everyone at home who's just finding out about us to go back and look at all of the challenges in the past few weeks that have happened, and allowing people to re-engage with some of the old challenges. And so that's how we delivered that challenge last week. And we got a crazy crap load of submissions this week, and I actually want to share a few before we move into the next portion of this show. I'm just trying to share my Google Drive real quick here of week 9. So we got a couple of beats. We actually got a couple beats from Van Gorian and from Rudy, and we're gonna get into the Van Gorian stuff after, but I want to get into some of the visual arts here, some of the submissions here. We have this one from Maisie. Actually, I personally know Maisie. She's from Bella Coola. Shout out to our New Hawk Nation people, but she's living out in Abbotsford right now. She had this beautiful, beautiful, amazing visual artist right there. Really beautiful. Here we have another piece coming in from Justice Land. Another beautiful piece. This is actually pretty heavy right now. This is pretty good here. We also had a couple of someone to do an affirmation poem here. We had Harmony deliver a little affirmation poem. I am Nibi, come in many forms, from blizzards to thunderstorms. Woo, fire bars. I can be smaller than a dewdrop, or abundant to feed all of the crops. Really great stuff coming from Harmony. You can definitely check that out on the Instagram using the hashtag Windcarriers Challenge if you want to read up on that. Then we had Erica here from Lillooet, BC, and Effie as well. These are our Windcarriers champions, we like to call them. Every single week, they've always submitted art. Beautiful work coming from them. We have Kateri here, Tsutina, delivering a nice, beautiful Windcarriers painting there, drawing. Then we had Aowen, age 11, from Valley River First Nation. Shout out to her. She did a couple of the challenges, actually, kind of revisited some of the old ones. That was the first time we got a challenge from her. Then there was this piece. This is an anonymous piece. This is a beautiful piece, though. Actually, it looks like a collaging with some transfers here and a beautiful little poem as well. And if you definitely, I believe that this was posted as well onto Instagram. So if you are interested in checking out some of those challenges, feel free to do so. Every week we always get a lot of people sending in beautiful challenges, and we got shout out to Deborah Peters here. Wow, amazing work, everyone. We're always trying to connect different people here. We have people tuning in here on the YouTube page, so we got Vermont in the house as well. But every week we could only have one winner. And we do the winner based off of a random draw before the show. It's not about the quality. It's about the quality. No, what am I saying? It's not about it's not about the quality. It's completely random because the quality is super high. So we just make it a completely random draw every week. And so we could only have one winner. And so for this week's winner, we have Aowen from, where were they from? From Valley River First Nation. So Aowen, you are our winner for week 9's challenge. Congratulations. We will be in touch with you fairly soon, and you will get your prize pack. And so some people that are just tuning in right now, what did Aowen win? I think she won. What did she win? She won a $100 gift card to a place of her choice, a brand new pair of Vans shoes. Vans is also a silent partner in this initiative, so she gets a brand new pair of Vans shoes. Shout out to Vans as well. And what else did she get? Oh yeah, and a N'we Jinan prize pack. So a N'we Jinan t-shirt, some N'we Jinan swag to go with that. Also, remember though, even if you don't win every week, any submission that you send to us is an automatic submission to our grand prize, the MacBook Pro that was generously donated by Taking It Global. So that will be only at the end of this whole campaign. But listen, if you submit a challenge every single week and don't win, you still have all of those submissions that will go into the bigger draw. So if you've done 10 challenges, you have 10 chances of winning that draw, just so that you know. So every week, we're always encouraging more people to send in their challenges. And even if they don't win that week, they still have a chance to winning the following week. So shout out to everyone who's on today's show. We're going to get into that real quick and then move into the next portion. But I'm super excited to bring on our guests today. Really amazing, both amazing in their own ways. They bring so much knowledge, so much creativity to the scenes that they're part of. So we have Franklin Moore, aka Van Gorian, EDM producer from the Cree Nation, who's going to be joining us today, who started off as a youth in our programs, but also now is graduated high school and is connected to Impact, working officially with our organization. So super excited to bring him on. And then we got the homie Patrick Shannon from Haida BC. He's done so much exceptional work, and we're definitely going to hopefully be able to unpack some of that work. And we're lucky enough to be able to work with this dude. We worked with him starting this year with our mobile production studio program, doing some music videos with the youth out in various communities. And so we're going to be bringing him on. And so we're going to be bringing him on shortly, but we're going to get into the song of the week. So this week's song of the week comes to us courtesy, we always play N'we Jinan youth songs every week, all our current stuff. And so this week's song comes from Long Lake, number 58, First Nations, Ontario. The song is called Blood Memories. It's an original music video project created by a group of students at the Miigwech Secondary School out in Long Lake First Nations. Shout out to all our Long Lake people. Actually, some people that work with our organization are from Long Lake. So shout out to Larissa. Also, shout out to Classic Roots. The homie Classic Roots is from Long Lake, and he works with our organization. So we always want to give him a big shout out. But this track that we're going to be playing for you is from the youth from out there. This track explores the theme of blood memories and taps into the youth connection to ancestral knowing and teachings. Through this connection, the youth showcase their source of resilience and strength and express an important message to their audience. I'm going to do a little share screen and bring that onto our YouTube page. So if you do like what you're hearing, you can definitely check out this song. It's an amazing song. It's actually created by our Sacred Space tour, which is Travis Hebert, aka Earthchild, Craig Edis, aka the Northwest Kid, and yours truly, Patrick Shannon. So we're super excited to be able to play this. Make sure you go and check out the YouTube page. Drop them a comment, drop them a little like, and the shout out to the youth from the song: Precious, Kylie, Karis, Odessa, Daniel, Rory, and Sydney. The song's called Blood Memories. Let's get into it.
I'm blessed for the teachings that were passed on to me. They led me down a path that helped me to see when I'm feeling pain and experiencing grief. I'm painting my feelings to help set it all free. Everything's changing nowadays. This generation's starting to forget the old ways. We still have love, honesty, respect. Still trying to keep it in check before we forget. I feel connected when we see this blood memory gave us our identity. This is Creator's grand design. Let's combine our minds to define our bloodline. Grew up healing, but all these feelings keep getting in the way. There is nobody near. I want you all here. Everything will be okay. Way up, hey up, hey, hey. 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 Way up, hey up, hey. Coming from catastrophe, emotions and capacity, control's been stolen from me. I want it given back to me. Coming from catastrophe, emotions and capacity, control's been stolen from me. I want it given back to me. Grew up healing, but all these feelings keep getting in the way. There is nobody near. I want you all here. Everything will be okay. Way up, hey up, hey, hey. Way up, hey up, hey, hey. Way up, hey up, hey, hey. Way up, hey up, hey, hey.
All right, and there you have it. That was Blood Memories, courtesy of the youth out in Long Lake First Nation, Ontario. Shout out to all of them. If you were liking what you're hearing, make sure you can go. We just dropped the link there in our chat, so you can go and check out the high def version of it. I know that this show is on 720p, so you're hearing things at low fidelity. So make sure if you are interested in hearing that high quality version, you get over to our YouTube page and check that out. So we're gonna be bringing on our first guest of the show. We're super excited to be bringing him on. This is such a little epic picture. I always like to share this picture of him. His name is Franklin Moore. He goes by Vangorian, but he didn't always go by Vangorian. Actually, when I first heard of him, it was probably like 4 years ago or 5 years ago in N'we Jinan's early days, where we were releasing a lot of music when we just started out. And all of a sudden there was these mashup remixes that started showing up on Twitter and on YouTube by an artist named Vangelo. And I was like, who's this person? I never really quite knew who it was, but it was some kid who was like essentially taking N'we Jinan songs and doing EDM smash remix, mashup remixes with them, and would do lyric videos too. And I was like, wow. And it was like the marketing was on point. And I was like, never quite understood who the kid was. And then one day I just decided to do some research, and I found out I was a 15-year-old kid from Cree Nation of the Cree Nation of Chisasibi in northern Quebec. And I just hit him up, and I was just like, dude, we need to connect. And from then on, he's essentially played a huge role in the Mukjam Arts program, one of our N'we Jinan programs, and he's gone on to do some really incredible things. This is actually a picture of him last year at the N'we Jinan Festival and Youth Conference at the Canadian Museum for Human Rights in Winnipeg, just rocking a full crowd out there. And so, man, let's just bring him on the show. Let's talk some shop. He just released a brand new album called Nebula. So without further ado, everyone give it up for Vangorian. Yay! Woo. How are you, buddy? How you doing today, Franklin?
I'm doing good.
That's great, man. That's great, man. Well, thank you for taking the time to sit with us and talk a little shop, man. How are things going out there in Chisasibi, bro?
Oh, it's hot. I can't tell how many days has been hot, because it's been like straight up hot days now.
That's crazy, man. I've had the chance of being in Chisasibi in the summer, and on those hot days, that's when those black flies come out, man. And yeah. It's definitely not fun walking around, man. And I know you've been walking around, going back and forth to work, eh?
Yeah, a lot.
And that's it. So how you been avoiding them black flies, man?
Bug spray, easy.
Oh yeah, the bug spray works, eh?
Yeah, it works. I always like put it on before I go to work, and then we have bug spray at work as well, so to prevent us from interrupting our work.
That's it. I guess the problem with me is that I got to wear hairspray to get my hair looking like this, so maybe that's where I'm wrong. I should probably be applying bug spray as my hairspray or something like that. Might work better. Yeah, but cool, man. But Franklin, thank you so much for joining us today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what do you do, and all that good stuff, man?
Of course. My name is Franklin Moore. I'm from the Chisasibi, from the Cree Nation, and I make music for a living, but also have a part-time job, which is like a 10-minute walk from here, so I can just easily go back and forth to work and do music, and yeah, that's it.
Awesome, man. So yeah, let's get into it right away, man. A little bit more about how did you get into producing? We're gonna sit and we're gonna listen to some of your tracks. I'm really down for you to break down some of your process, but let's take it back to the beginning, where it was young Franklin has never created music before. What inspired you to kind of get into producing music?
Well, it started as when I was young. I would listen to mainstream music, and then I start getting into some of these weird electronic sounds for some reason, and then I was like, wow, this sounds weird. I'm kind of into it, and then I start discovering this dance category or electronic category of music. So I was like, this is interesting. So I search up for some of the EDM artists that as long as I could find, and I found this. There are so many subgenres in EDM. I can't tell how many subgenres there are. More than 100. It's like a new world. It's like a new world in EDM compared to the mainstream music. But it's a library of subgenres, and I'm like, oh, this is so interesting. I wanted to keep exploring it. So I got into DJing at that point as well. So because I see most of these EDM artists are DJs as well, so I want to be like one of them. So I started DJing. I end up having a hard time at first, and then I start listening to some demonstrations of other people how they DJ. Then I start then I developed myself as a DJ. So yeah, so as soon as I got into DJing, but I also wanted to make my own tracks, so and start to produce my own types of music.
Okay, so that's pretty cool, man. So essentially you started off as a DJ, like you got interested in the music, you were listening to it, then you picked up DJing, you started learning like how to do mixing. I'm assuming that's when I first met you. You were doing mashups, I guess, right? Because I remember listening to those songs with N'we Jinan, and I wish that. Are those on your YouTube channel by any way? Are they still there?
Yeah, they're still there.
Okay, so yeah, hopefully maybe Alex, if like our communications officer here at Impact, if you could find those mashups and post them, because it was really like a unique time for you because you're just starting out, and I guess found some software where you can mash up like EDM tracks with like already existing songs. So it was already pretty cool back then. But then you moved into production where you were like, it inspired you enough, you wanted to make your own original sounds. And so tell us a little bit how you started, like what program did you get, and like how was it like starting off when you first started like learning how to use those programs?
The software that I used was called back in the day when I was making mashups, I used a software called Sony Acid Music Studio, and it was not a very good digital audio workstation because you install it on your computer, but it has no software instruments. You have zero software instruments. How you're gonna make sounds with it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And especially with effects, like for EQ, for example, you have this EQ and you put it on your sound, whatever sample. It only has 3 bands instead of 8. So I wanted to like control more of to reshape the sound the way I wanted. So I couldn't do that with 3 bands. So I need like more than 3 bands. And that was the time like, okay, this is the time I need to make something that's totally not kind of like learning process of music production, but also learning how to play make mixes as well, DJ mixes through this software. That's how I make mashups as well. You know, remember I Believe, the summit that I made? That's how it got started.
That's awesome, man. And then so eventually you went from that's great because that's you're using that essentially probably because it was the software that you stumbled across. It was a free download maybe or whatever, and it gives you your
was
shot.
not free download.
It wasn't even free download.
No.
Oh man, that's crazy. So you already invested it early on, and then I know that you moved over to FL Studio, which I believe is what you're currently using right now, which is like, you know, more of a producer based, beat maker based program, but you can do a lot of recording, and we'll get into some of that too. But what are the questions? Oh, I had this crazy question for you, bro. I can't remember.
Ask away.
I can't even remember the question. It was a different question that was off script, and it just escaped me. But I want to get maybe into like, you know, it seems like you invested a lot of time though, right, into making music. So maybe talk to us a little bit about how did music like help you, you know, in terms of like managing your time to doing something productive, you know what I mean? Like maybe get a little bit into that.
Yeah. When I got all the equipment, like I'm ready to make my own music, but I was looking for like inspiration and like listening to a lot of other people's music, especially mainstream music. Like for sure, Eminem. I was listening to that before EDM. So I was listening to mostly instrumental sounds that are synth, lead, bass, drums, all those kind of stuff. So they're all good as well, but there's occasionally some bad ones as well. So I was like, maybe I want to go stick on the best music as I can. Like maybe, so I'm gonna stick to this whatever I'm feeling. This type of music that I want to make. You know, I don't want to go like people telling me, okay, make this type of music or this type of music or this genre. You know, What if I don't want to go in any of those? I want to go like my own ways of making music. So, and it took a learning process. It took a long time to learn some development, and you watch a lot of YouTube tutorials along the way, and how to do this trick, or how to make this how to make this sound, and to become a better producer, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told that after I graduated from high school, I was told that my parents said, "Oh, you should take music course in Algonquin College, which is in Ottawa, of course." I was told to go. I was told to go to that program. I was like, maybe I don't want to go, because I feel like they're going to teach me everything I already know, like mixing and mastering and techniques, sound design, all of those. So what if I want to learn those types for free without paying, like, actually, without me going to college, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've already learned mixing, sound design, and arrangements as well. And boom, I just have it in my head. So you have to train your ears as well, because you have to treat your ears very carefully, because you don't want to like damage your ears too. You need your ears to make best music as you can.
Yeah, it's so funny that you say that. I remember now what I was going to say. You talk about damaging ears. I remember though, when I saw you, like maybe this was like before your album Different World came out. Like it was just before that, when you were kind of creating tracks, I guess in grade 10 and 11. I saw you and just asked me in the classroom once mixing your tracks on earbuds. And I was like, yo, like, you like, because the music EDM is so loud, and I remember just seeing like, yo, Franklin, like this is how you're mixing your tracks, and you're like, yeah, I don't have a pair of headphones, and I love seeing those headphones that you're rocking right now. I don't know if those are the exact ones that I gave you, but I remember giving you my like pair of headphones, because I was like, you need to protect your ears, but then also there's certain types of headphones you can hear those frequencies that you're looking for as an EDM producer, right?
Yeah, exactly. I still have it right here. If I can find it. Yeah, found it. It's right here. Right here.
That's it, man. They're great. Those are great studios. Those are good They're not the greatest mixing headphones. I think those are like the ATX. They're the basic Audio Technica headphones, man. But definitely better than earbuds when you're mixing music. That's for sure, you know. But but it's interesting to hear that perspective that you were sharing, saying that like you decided not to go to Algonquin College because you felt like you had all the knowledge of what it takes for sound design, which is true. But some people also just go to school also for the networking, because you get a chance to like meet people. And music business, I mean, you could still create a music business online and network people online, but some people like that in-person formal training still, you know what I mean? But but you know what though, Franklin, if you decided to go that route, then maybe you wouldn't be where you're at today, which is you've been officially hired, right? By Impact to work with our organization as a seed artist. So that's like the starting point for you, where it's like, I mean, there's so many different, that's like a job as an artist, but you're also a professional artist perfecting your craft, releasing music like this heavy album right here that we're about to get into. Maybe you could play one track, but talk to us a little bit about Nebula, this new Vangorian project that was released on Friday. It's available on all digital platforms. We're going to drop the link right now so that everyone can make sure they get their copy. But talk to us about Nebula, and then maybe play us like a bit of your favorite song off that album.
Well, it started as when the COVID-19 arrived. So it was a weird timing, but at the same time, so that's when I put my focus on my working on this album. So because the store was closed down because of the COVID-19 for 2 months straight.
Yeah.
And then it reopened again, so that kind of loses my focus a little bit of music. But I was also going back and forth with music as well. It was no pressure when I was making it. So last album was Different World. It has 6 tracks, but this album is 8 tracks. So I was like not really sure if I should put 8 tracks, but I'm glad I did. And it's a little bit different than the last one. And so when I was working with Matthew Iseroff, and I was looking for a vocalist at the time when I was looking for this beat that I'm working on, and I needed a vocalist. So I asked Matthew Iseroff to if he can sing on this track that I'm working on. He was like, "Sure, let's do it." And we send each other some audio clips. Like this is how it should sound. I don't like this part. I like this part. You know, we send each other some stamps and audio clips of back and forth, see if we like it or not, and then boom, it's done. And
that's crazy, man. So you're gonna play that song with Matthew? Because for the folks at home that don't know Matthew, I'll actually I'm trying to share a picture, but it's not actually working. But yeah, Matthew Isoff, like that must have been something to actually work with him. I mean, he's an artist from the Cree Nation as well, from the Cree Nation of Miss Destiny, living out in Wamextu. But he's also a Juno award-winning artist, right? Here he is, him and Picasso from the band, formerly, well, they're still a band, I guess. They still exists, called Ceremony. They won Juno like back in I can't remember when it was, but it was like maybe 10 years ago or something.
That was like 2006, I don't know, 2007.
But yeah, that's either way, that's legendary that you get a chance to work with an amazing artist like that. So why don't you play us that track right now, man? I'm down to actually hear it.
Yeah. Hang on, just need to set up my interface. Look for the song.
That's fine. So while Van Gorian's doing that, make sure you go and check out his album. We just dropped the link to his brand new EP, Nebula, on Apple Music. It's on all platforms, so on Spotify, SoundCloud as well. Depending on any platform, we have the fan link, so you could basically find it on any platform that you actually use. I would highly suggest getting it. I love the aesthetic of this album. Personally, it's got a very those 8 tracks sound like they belong together. So it's a really great listen. If you're looking for you're doing a long drive, you're doing a run, you need motivation, it's like a great album to listen to. I would definitely recommend it to everyone out there. It's super dope. All right, so bro, are you ready to take us through this track here?
Yeah, hang on.
All right.
I don't know if you can hear it.
Uh-oh. No. You're it's because you're muted.
What? I didn't press that.
Oh, some technical difficulties.
Press the mute button. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Awakening from the times of lies, as we're being brought back to life. The ways in which we will all survive are the ways that kept us all alive. Time to break and decolonize, and look within with spirit eyes. Once we do, we will realize we are the echoes of the warrior
That's dope, bro. I love it. Even on that low fidelity is still that bass, bro. Just still comes through. It's crazy, man. You definitely got that frequency on lockdown, man.
Yeah.
We had a couple of people just comment. I don't know if you saw that comment. It was a comment from one of our N'we Jinan friends from LA who's just was super down with that. So I'm pretty sure you'll catch a couple of new listeners here, Van Gorian, from this show. We definitely appreciate you coming on the show and sharing some of your time with us, some of your experiences. But before we go, though, Franklin, we have one last question for you. It's a question that we ask everybody on the Windcarrier show, all the youth specifically. So that question is, what message or teaching of your ancestors do you continue to pass on?
I think that if you feel like how do you say it? Oh yeah, if you're like a visitor from the outside world, if you're going to the indigenous land like EOSC or whatever, it's important to make sure you do your studies before going to the land, because you never know like if you're disrespecting. Because I remember I think a couple years ago there was some white folks that were coming to our hunting territory, start to hunt caribous, and they killed like 60 caribous in one hunt, and like made a mess in our lands, and they just left all those dead caribous in our land, and we just kind of disrespectful thing to do in our land, because who's going to clean it up or who's going to eat it, you know what I mean? And it's important to learn our land before going to our land, so otherwise it's going to know you. And if you treat it with respect and you earn respect, you know what I mean? I mean, when you came to our land, you know, you were pretty much a friendly person. So
well, yeah, you come in, especially if you're a guest, you know, you're invited guest, you come with respect, you know, you come there to learn, you come there to just to be part of what it is that the community want to engage you with, you know what I mean? And so I definitely hear what you're saying, is to definitely respect the land, you know, more than anything. And so we definitely appreciate, that's a very strong message, Vangorian. We're always happy, and I'm super happy that we're going to be staying connected, man, for the years to come. Now that you're officially working with our organization, man. So, but I mean, I'm super excited also for people to check out the album, to check out the EP, Nebula. It's available on all digital platforms. This is a young Cree artist that's going to be doing exceptional things in the years to come. He's doing exceptional things right now. So definitely support his career, help push his music forward, and all that good stuff, man. So, yo, Franklin, bro, thank you so much for coming on the show, my bro. And I know that you have to get to work. I know they gave you some time to run over there, but let's just keep in touch. All right, man.
Yeah.
All right. That was Vangorian right there, Franklin Moore, exceptional EDM producer. Definitely check him out. Give all his pages a like. He has he's on all the social medias, always updating, and especially now that he's got a new album. So definitely want to check him out for that. We're gonna move into the next segment and bring on Patrick Shannon, a friend of mine. He does such exceptional work. Before we do that, we're gonna give a big shout out to Create to Learn. It's an initiative. Essentially an app of developers there's Indigenous content creators that are essentially creating content, sharing their knowledge and expertise on a specific arts craft, or maybe a business venture, or ways to approach, writing a business grant. So it's a very interesting platform that's run by Indigenous content creators. And essentially Patrick Shannon is one of the core content creators from this app that we're gonna be talking a little bit about that. But if you are an Indigenous content creator that's watching right now, they actually have a call out right now that's going, where they're looking for more content creators to lend their expertise. You get paid to create tutorial videos, essentially, that will get featured on this app. This is that's a suit. Whoops, I probably should have let that one play through. But anyways, that's an amazing it's an amazing initiative app that is essentially we're going to drop the link right now to Create to Learn on the Instagram page. You can find all of the information that you need, but it's essentially a free app that you can get through the App Store on the Apple Store. And actually could even I have it here, like a little screen. It's really, really well done. It's like got a beautiful aesthetic, and you can kind of connect to all of these amazing Indigenous content creators. And we got the vector design homie right here, Patrick Shannon. I did a little quick search on him to kind of see what he had available on there. And he's got like his bio, different tutorials. Here's one called filming like a boss. Lots of cool stuff on there. Honestly, you can spend a lot of time on it. It's a free app as well. So it's so convenient, so accessible. And, that connects us to the next artist that we're going to be bringing on, Patrick, who I'm talking about, played a huge role in the Create to Learn initiative, but also does so much incredible stuff in the arts. So I'm going to get right into it. So Patrick Shannon, also known as N'we Jinan. I know there's a click somewhere in there, so hopefully I got that right. He's an Indigenous filmmaker, film director, award-winning social entrepreneur, and university instructor from Haida Gwaii, British Columbia, Canada. Patrick's work centers around social and cultural justice at the elevation of marginalized voices through education, youth mentorship, media, and technology. He's also the founder and owner of InnoNative, a multimedia creative studio based on Haida Gwaii that brings traditional Indigenous storytelling and values into contemporary mediums. He's been working with our mobile production studio program for the last year. Without further ado, everyone give it up for Patrick Shannon.
Hey, how's it going, buddy?
Oh man, it's going well, bro. I'm getting through it, man. How are you doing over there?
Pretty heckin' good. I'm over on Haida Gwaii. We're on the edge of the world, and it's just wonderful out here.
I could only imagine, man. Set the landscape setting for us right now, man. Like, what do you see? What are you guys doing over there? What does it look like?
Oh man, I wish I could just turn the camera around and show you what my view is right now. But it's like we've got the beach, we've got the ocean, we got probably about 100 eagles flying around. There were some killer whales out front earlier. It's basically like a postcard here, and it's kind of been a bit surreal at times being on a place like Haida Gwaii because we are so isolated in the northwest coast of BC, especially during this whole pandemic time. So it's like almost like we're like we still get all the news, still get all the information, but it's weird kind of watching everything that's happening in the rest of the world, but also still making sure that we are being responsible and taking precautions because everyone's got their part to play. So even on Haida Gwaii, we're making sure that we do things right here.
Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming you guys have different phases and stuff in terms of like the social distancing phases. So like, where are you guys at right now in terms of like your phases, and what are you allowed to like essentially do?
Mm-hmm. So Haida Gwaii is following kind of British Columbia's restart plan. And so we've got it pretty good out here in BC. COVID definitely got flattened pretty well, and the whole province seems to be pretty on board. And Haida Gwaii, as well as many other Indigenous communities, are taking it a little bit slower, just like really playing it cautious because, of course, our history of diseases and pandemics still has a toll that we feel to this day. And so right now, we're at the point where we can definitely socialize. We still recommend to wear masks and all that, but everyone, as long as we kind of keep our social distance, we can still live a life normally as long as we just take those precautions. And so right now there's actually a big fight going on between the Haida and fishing lodges that want to open up despite the fact that we say our islands aren't ready, but we'll see how that goes.
I see, man. That's crazy, man. But I mean, that's definitely part of the conversations, right? Like businesses are now just trying to open up, because especially when things open up just a little bit, it's like businesses right away. Let's just go back to the way that it was, But obviously that is not the case, and it's going to take some conversation. It's going to take some time. I don't even think things are going to go back to the way that they were. You know what I mean? There's going to definitely be some sort of like different way of approaching everything that we used to call normal. It's not gonna be that anymore. It's gonna be always some precautionary measures and stuff. So, but I definitely do appreciate you taking the time, because I know that you are a very busy guy. I'm always like inspired by your journey, all the stuff that you do. But for the people that don't really know you, maybe just get into that little the crash course elevator pitch on who is Patrick Shannon, what do you do, where you're from, all that good stuff.
All right, so Di Nanqulas Khanudikiraga. My name is Nanqulas. That's my Haida name, and it means the boss. And my English name is Patrick. So whichever one you prefer, go for it. Yeah, it's so funny. Everyone sees my Facebook name, which looks like Nang, like Nang, and everyone's like, "Hey Nang, what's up?" Thinking it's my first name, but literally in our language, it just means the. So every time someone calls me Nung, or as they say, Nang, they're just like, "What's up, the." Anyway, yeah, so I'm a filmmaker, I'm a photographer, I'm a designer, just a general hustler of multimedia, digital media, storytelling, all that kind of stuff. So I'm from Haida, one of the local Indigenous people here on these islands. And so I was raised here up until basically 15 years old. And then I got shipped down to Vancouver, where I spent almost a decade working in the Vancouver film industry and starting my own design company and all these different things. So I kind of took a decade of that experience in the city and brought it back home, going on 7 years now. And since then, I've been doing a lot of work with Indigenous communities, especially youth, Indigenous youth, marginalized communities. And like the big thing that I really try and push for is how do we make sure that our voices as, racialized people, as marginalized people who typically have never had the opportunity to be heard properly, get that opportunity now? Because like media technology has been the great equalizer. It's allowed us to do some amazing things and to really have a voice now and presence in the mainstream world that really we never had before. So it's an exciting time, and I kind of center a lot of my work around how do we bring that opportunity to everyone.
I see. That's quite astonishing, man. It's quite a trajectory if you think about you starting out when you were fit. I guess maybe I don't even know when you started out, and that would probably be my first question. But just to see where you're at today, and like in with that kind of notion is as like your kind of like almost like your guiding question, like this is what you want to do, and this is the kind of the opportunities that you want to hopefully spark in other youth that were like the future Patrick Shannons, the young versions of you that are just starting out, you know what I mean? That may not be aware that there's like, all of these opportunities in the technology world, all of the filmmaking and in music and in all of these different aspects of the digital world that allow Indigenous people to tell their stories in their own way. So that's super cool. But I want to take it back just real quick, man, to beardless Patrick Shannon. I don't know if you were ever beardless, but I've
always had a beard.
You always had a beard, eh? You were basically the boss. You were born the boss.
6-year-old with a beard. It was quite the sight. One
So
of
I
the
don't
few
know.
native people that can grow facial hair.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. But I'm curious, man, of like what sparked your interest in filmmaking, like to get into like this line of work. Did it come before you left for school? It must have, if you knew that like I'm going to Vancouver to pursue a career in film. Like what sparked that interest right from the beginning?
Really, I had no idea about film. I was never exposed to things like media or technology. It never even seemed like a thing that was possible. It's something that really came about through random happenstance. I was basically on my own at like 15, 16, moved in with an old Jewish couple in North Vancouver. And while helping me move in, my landlord was complaining that he's had his movie agent for about 2 weeks and he hadn't gotten a call yet. And at this point, I'm just like, what do you mean movie agent? And he's like, oh yeah, Lionsgate Studios just down the street. Like literally it's like a 15-minute walk away from where I stayed. And so I asked for the number, and then I went in, and within 2 weeks I was working on my first movie, which was X-Men 3. And over the course of like the next probably 7 years, I was on over 100 TV shows and movies, everything from background extra to production assistant to, depending on the size of the production, doing many different roles, from lighting, grip, camera, all this kind of stuff, and even a few stuff in front of camera. So if you watch Twilight New Moon, you'll see me in it. You'll there's a few acting things I'm probably not going to share as much, but it's fun when you're young to really kind of get that taste. And this is like in the late 2000s. And so at that point, being like a teenager and wanting to just being exposed to all this stuff for the first time, it was so exciting. And I became a photographer about 15, 16, and just kind of started hustling. And I taught myself design, all these different things just to survive in Vancouver because that was such a difficult, expensive city to live in.
Yeah.
And then 2008, 2009 rolled around. Then all of a sudden, Canon just released their 5D Mark II and 7D, their DSLRs that for the first time ever shot amazing video that allowed you to use photography lenses. And that was a game changer because before that, all you had were just like rinky dink, like little camcorders that just didn't look great.
Or you need those big budgets. You need those big budgets.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Oh my goodness.
Which very few people had. And so like that was it. I saved up, bought myself a Canon 7D, and then just quit the industry at that point. Because also leading up to the Olympics, the industry kind of tanked. But that was like perfect timing. So I left the film industry and using kind of that experience, seeing how things worked on set, just found a bunch of friends and we just started hustling and just making projects. Like we were shooting something 2-3 projects every single week. And it was just a great way to cut my teeth. And then moved home in 2013 and just kind of took that experience and started building it into a production company, into mentoring youth. And it was really leaving home, leaving my reservation is what allowed me to really start seeing what was special about it and what was so important, because you take this stuff for granted, especially if all you've known is a reservation your whole life or your small community or even your city. You don't really notice all the amazing things in it. And so coming home, seeing the strength and resilience, especially after going to the city for so long, just really inspired me. And I just went on this whole other direction and path that I had no idea that I was going to be taking.
Which is like that mentorship piece, right? That's essentially where Inno Native was born, right? And so you're saying 2013 when you returned back to Haida Gwaii, like that's where that idea came from, correct?
Yeah, Inno Native definitely kicked off back in like 2015 as like a multimedia creative studio. So we did everything. And a big part of that was, doing photography classes, workshops, just trying to do that. And then over the course of a few years, I started doing more workshops. People found out about that and started bringing me to their communities. And so for the past 5 years, I've been traveling to dozens and dozens of different communities, especially Indigenous communities all across the country, and speaking internationally at conferences. So it's wild how it went from, this is something I love doing, my passion, and then finding my niche and really finding a bit of a mission in doing what I love and being able to support the community and young people coming up to have opportunities that I didn't. And then just how much people want to support that or love that idea. And so it's kind of been most of my career to this point.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. You kind of like covered a lot of ground too, and like what you're saying. Cause I was, I always wonder, like when I meet like-minded people that are thinking about mentorship, working with young people, like, because not everybody chooses that life, right? When they're, especially if you've had all these accolades, right? Like I go through your list of accolades and all the things that you've done, and then also seeing though the type of programs and the things that you want to offer, all the skills that you've acquired over these years. Like I didn't know that you had all of this like experience, like working in the film industry in Vancouver, but you can see that probably a lot of that hands-on experience that you were learning, now you want to be able to make those transferable skills to other people, and that's not something that everyone wants to do, right? Some people just want to keep to themselves and just work on their own artistic practice, work on their own business, and sustain their own livelihood essentially. So my question to you is like, what's the importance of mentorship? Like, why is that something that drives you to teach like the next generation?
Yeah, I think a big part of it, it's like, for me at least, it's those cultural values that you're a part of a community, and part of a community is bringing up other people, it doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're a leader in politics or you're working in a certain industry or something. How our communities grow and thrive is by taking what we have and sharing it. It's not meant to be kept within one person. It's meant to be shared with everyone else. At least that's how I see everything. And so I've been fortunate enough to be able to have these opportunities and to be able to grow and build my career. But at the same time, if I had access to this when I was young, it would have like completely changed my life. Maybe I wouldn't have had to leave, because there was always a narrative growing up that if you want to make something of yourself, if you want to be successful, you have to leave your community, you have to go. And in doing that, so many people never return. So we have a brain drain of some of our best and brightest that, get robbed from our communities. So I want to like try and build up people in my own community, people in neighboring communities, to show that we have so much to offer. And really, we're on the ground. Like, we're on the front lines of so many things that are happening. When you look at resource extraction, when you look at the fight for sovereignty with law of Indigenous communities, this is stuff that's happening not necessarily in the cities. It's happening in small communities. It's happening where most of, mainstream media isn't looking. So if we can empower people to, fight for sovereignty, fight for our rights, but also empower and build new economies that aren't based off of resource extraction, but based off of knowledge and creative transfer, it's like the sky's the limit. I think that we can be, like, we're such amazing, resilient people as Indigenous peoples and people living in rural communities, that, if we have the opportunity to showcase our values and who we are, I think we can make some massive movements in this world.
Definitely dropping some crazy gems there. Thank you for sharing that, Patrick. And like, even like to carry that thought a little bit about what it means to be like a content creator today, an Indigenous content creator. I mean, I see a lot of the work that you're doing, and you're doing like a vast array, different styles, different types, but then also having a focus on like, the Haida language, for instance, right? Like, you have a lot of stuff that's also inwards looking, not just outward storytelling. Like, you're offering your services to like film, and like, your artistry is like, teaching kids like how they can also do it. But then it's like you're going back home to Haida Gwaii and saying like, how can we make a difference here? How can I make a difference as like a content creator for my own community? And then like, COVID started, and I saw the series there, the Haida Gwaii language series, about learning more. And even the first time I met you, I was like really like not, I don't know if it was intimidated, but the amount of like when your presence, when you introduce yourself, I was like, I've never really like experienced that. You know what I mean? So I have the question that I'm trying to get to, I guess, essentially, it's really to like motivate like the young generation of Indigenous content creators that are coming up, the Vangorians that are on the come up, right? There's a decade of gap between you two, and all the youth that you're working with through N'we Jinan programs, or through all the programs that you're connected with. But like, how like important is it to hold ancestral knowledge pertaining to your own culture as an Indigenous storyteller in today's digital world?
Oh, it's huge. And like, our values, doesn't matter if it's 300 years ago, 500 years ago, or today. Those values remain the same. Like, the implementation, the details, the context changes, but those values are transferable no matter what. And a lot of those values are really just about supporting other people, being a good human. We know what's right, what's wrong. And the big thing we have to overcome is, the fact that our society prioritizes things like greed, and the myth that we need to be self-made. We're built up by community. We only become who we are because of the people around us, the relationships that we build, and we grow together. It's like that saying, the rising tide floats all the boats. And it's true. As more people grow and become healthier, you become healthier.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can find ways to bring those values into whatever medium you choose, whether it's art, whether it's media production, whether it's songwriting. There's so much there. And it doesn't have to be stereotypical. It doesn't have to be a lot of our, traditional stuff. It could take brand new forms. It could be pushing the envelope. And it's really exciting to see that. And so I think it's so powerful when I see, especially young people, pushing the boundaries and allowing our cultures to evolve, because that's a big thing. Like, when I think about where we are as distinct individual Indigenous cultures, nations, we have our history to look back to and to influence us. But that can't be all we are. Otherwise, we might as well be in a museum, and that's where dead things are. We need to continue evolving, because an evolving culture, an evolving language is a living language, is a living culture. And that's what I love seeing through taking advantage of these new technologies. Doesn't matter if it's giving us access to metals so we can better craft, different pieces of art or utility, functional pieces, whatever technology we get access to, we make amazing things. And so, just do what is right. And those teachings, it may not be paddling in a canoe anymore. It may be mixing beats, but they both can be done from the same perspective, using the same care and thought and respect.
Dang, man. Gems there. Thank you so much for sharing that, Patrick. And it really gets me thinking, though, because I know language revitalization is a real, like, BC First Nations thing. I mean, it is something that's widespread, but in BC First Nations communities, it's like a real, like, there's like, it's a kind of like a state of emergency in some communities, in the sense that there are less speakers because there's so many different languages, right? Like in Haida Gwaii, I don't even know what the situation is in Haida Gwaii. Like me personally, like in Didi Dot First Nation, right, on like in the Vancouver Island area, there's in near Port Alberni, in that community, there's like 2 speakers left of their own language, and they're elders, you know what I mean? And it's a complex language. There's not much work that's been done on it, but then you have, like, you know, organizations like the First Peoples Cultural Council and First Voices, that app, and all of that are emergent stuff that's coming up to language revitalization in BC. It's not something that's like spoken about as much on the East Coast, right? Like, or in, like, you know, northern community, First Nations communities, where there's a lot of people speaking the language. Like, talk to us a little bit about language revitalization in like Haida Gwaii.
Well, every nation's in a very different place, and I think you really pointed out BC's specific case, where we have so many different nations, so many different cultures, and each one of us is in a different phase of it. Like Haida Gwaii, you know, we don't have that many fluent speakers left. We, like, in my dialect, I think we might even be down to single digits right now, which is very scary. But we have to cherish, and we are cherishing every bit of time that we do have left. We don't think of it as much as we only have 2 left, or we only have like 8 left. It's like we have these 8 amazing people, these resources, and, you know, we need to honor them and try and learn as much as possible. And it's been a challenge because we all live a very, you know, westernized lifestyle, and that prioritizes going to work, making money, buying your groceries at a store. There's less opportunity for us to be able to make sure that we're living in a way that's more connected with our traditions, which is more connected with the land, and in particular the language, because, you know, we went generations of our family members basically not teaching us our language because they were afraid that we'd be discriminated against because of that. That's why I don't know my language, and learning it has been such a massive challenge, because even just taking those first steps, you have a lot of us have so much inherent guilt by the fact that we don't know our language, and we feel like we should, even though it's not our fault that we don't. It's not really taught in schools properly. Like, I didn't learn it. And really my journey started with, you know, just spending time with these elders, going to places where there is speaking, but there's so few people speaking that we all have our own challenges. And so each community has a different set of needs. And the biggest thing we're lacking right now is just adequate resources, funding, the time and space to be able to actually speak a language. Because right now there's very little Haida that you see anywhere. Like in my house, I've got so many things labeled, but I live on my own. There's no one really to speak to here, especially now during COVID times. It's very difficult to be near someone to even try and practice. But there are amazing people in our community, all doing different projects, from Haida language podcasts to, you know, online language resources. And there's these things happening all across the north, all across BC, all across the country. So we're in a very dire situation, but I'm also very optimistic that the amazing people that we have that are still pushing this forward are going to make enough of an impact that our languages can continue to evolve and survive through this, because we're at a crossroads. But language revitalization, I think it's now the urgency is there, and I'm seeing people act on that, which I didn't see growing up.
And, you know, just to continue your thought about how you have no one to practice with because it's COVID, like, let's are you willing to practice right now? Teach me a little bit of the language, and the viewers at home, maybe like a simple sentence. I don't know what could be, what you could teach.
I'll teach you some basic greetings, so
okay,
you can
perfect.
learn. So let's see. So the basic one, the one that every single person on Haida Gwaii knows, and what's really amazing is that half of Haida Gwaii isn't Indigenous, but still there are basic words that people will still use here, and everyone universally knows it. So hawa. Hawa is one in my dialect, which means thank you.
Hawa.
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 You got it.
Hawa. Hawa.
Yep.
Okay, and that's a greeting. You can say like hello or goodbye. It's just kind of like
hawa is thank you.
Oh, it's thank you.
Yeah.
Hawa. Okay.
So if someone hands you something, hawa. And then
Okay.
our greetings and our goodbyes are a little bit more complex. You've got like good day, which is Singai la. Singai la.
Sing like la.
Sing
Sing
gai
gai
la.
la. Sing
Yep.
gai la.
Yep.
Sing-
Singai is like day
Singai.
and la is good. So Singai la.
Sing
Good
gai
day.
la. Sing gai la.
Like, how's it going, basically?
Could start. Sing gai la.
Singai la. Good day.
Perfect. Sing gai la. I'm writing these down. Sing gai la.
I love teaching people like the foundations of the Haida language as well. Like I
Oh.
have this like 45-minute little like micro class that I'll do, which I can teach anyone to read and write the Haida language in 45 minutes.
Mm.
You just have to take a little bit of practice pronunciation, like
Yeah, the clicks.
glottal stops.
And that
So
comes
you-
from the
like-
throat, bro, or is that like a click within your teeth? Or something?
So there's two different style, a few different styles. But we've got like so as you said before, Nung is ulas. So Nung ulas is
Nung-
my name. So it starts down with the K, and then it pops up high. So
Ulas.
Nung.
I almost got it. I was so close, but I said
You're
nang.
pretty
bro.
close.
I said nang, like a typical
That's fine.
person. So nunkulas. Nunkulas.
Yeah, you did it really well.
That's it, bro. It comes
That's
with the
my name.
beatbox.
Don't wear it out.
It's the beatboxing skills. If you're a beatboxer, it's like a lot of the BC coastal languages that I've come into I've interacted with some of them, and they're very complicated. But with all the ones that have clicks, I'm able to kind of do it because of beatboxing.
Mhm.
So it helps.
That's awesome. Yeah, it took me 3
Nunkulas.
months to learn my name properly.
Mm.
And it's funny, like when I had my grandmother and I had a lot of my elders around me still, like if you ever said anything wrong, you get swatted with their cane or their purse just to pronounce it right. So that was a good way to make sure like I got my pronunciation
Hey,
down.
that's amazing. We have some people sending some comments in. So we got the homie Travis. You got skills,
Oh,
Patrick.
Travis.
Shout out to Travis, man, from say the Sacred Space tour.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing
Yeah,
artist,
Travis is
Earthchild.
pretty deadly. Travis,
Yes.
Craig, and I went on the road recently.
Oh man, that's crazy, man. It was crazy. I loved all the projects that you guys did. We have a few more people. We have Shelby from Empath, Patrick, you rule. I know our peeps from Empath are at home probably learning a little bit right here. Little Haida from you, bro. So shout out to them. I know we got Sabrina. Thank you for sharing these teachings. Nankulaus. Yes. I think I got it.
You got it.
I got it, bro. And then Katie Cardinal, you came in a little too late. Who won? I don't think you won, Katie. I'm sorry, but we'll get to you later. All right. So there we go. But that's it, man. But thank you so much. I don't know if there's can you teach us one more thing before we go? And I'll ask you one last question and
Sure.
we'll get out of here, man.
What's up? Oh, one more Haida thing.
Yeah, one more Haida thing.
Okay. So
Oh.
even the thing to say goodbye is one that I like. It's a damkhanla agan king. So damkhan.
Dumb.
Damkhan.
Damkhan.
Damkhan shla agang king. There's a lot. There's like a
Damkhan?
lot of like a
And there's a or something.
yeah. So damkhan shla agan king.
Hung Shla
Yep. Agung
Agung.
king, which means take care of yourself. So when you're saying goodbye to
King.
someone,
King.
damkhan
King?
shla agan king. King.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. King. Oh my goodness. Hung Shla Agung King.
Pretty close.
Oh my goodness.
Damkhan agan king.
Hung Shla Agung King.
You got it.
Kinda. I got it. You think? It's
Mhm.
on the record. I'm gonna watch the replay
Yeah.
after. Like I don't
Yeah,
know.
say
I'm
this
just
to an elder. They'll know what you mean.
as long as I don't get smacked by a purse or anything. If I come out the Haida Gua, you know.
Oh, that'll probably happen anyway.
That's it. As long as I got my basics though. Well, there's singala,
Singaitla.
singaitla.
Okay.
There's hawa,
Thank you.
hawa, and then damhangla agunking. Something
Pretty
like that.
close. Damkhantla gunking.
And if they ask me who taught you your Haida, I'll be like, it was my friend Nung Wait, yeah. Nungkulaos. Nungkulaos. Nungkulaos.
Nunculus.
Nungkulaos. There you
Yeah,
go,
it's,
man.
watch out, because Haidas will also tease you. Like, that's a big thing in our culture. If we tease you, it means we like you. I remember when I was first learning Haida, I was practicing. I was in the coffee shop every day, and Jags, the owner, he wants to get one over on me, and he speaks a little bit of Haida. And so he's like, "Oh, when someone asks you what you're doing, like or how are you doing, like want you to say this." And so he rattled off something, and I wrote it down. I was practicing, and an elder came in, my Auntie B, into the cafe, and she had her coffee. And right as she's about to leave, Jack's like, "Oh, B, get Patrick to ask Patrick how he's doing in Haida." And so, and then I say exactly what he told me to say, and then the elder, my Auntie B, is just like, "Oh, yeah," and then storms off. So apparently, I just told my elder when she asked me how I was doing, like, "Oh, I'm just like really horny right now." Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, you got to watch out for us.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, humor is still part of it, a part of this whole game, right? Yeah. So definitely, that was awesome. That's so funny, man.
We even have a whole book just based on flirty talk. So,
oh my god,
want to learn some fun stuff.
That's it, man. Well, you know what? If anyone's out there that wants to learn some flirty talk or any kind of anything pertaining to the Haida Gwaii language, or want to get more information on Patrick, definitely check out his we're going to drop a bunch of links here, Patrick, so people can check you out on InnoNative. InnoNative is the best gateway, I know, to all of your stuff, your socials as well. But definitely people could check you out on all that you do and that you offer as a human being to kind of just connect and to build through creativity, through the arts. Last question, man, Patrick, because I know we spent a lot of time talking about how you're very immersed in like working with the next generation, like being a resource to the new young creative content creators that are going to be on the come up right now. But in all of your interactions with young people, what is the message, or is there a message or a teaching that a young person has taught you that you like still carry with you to this day?
Oh, totally. Like, one of the biggest things is just staying humble and keeping on your toes. Like, you might think as your career kind of goes up that like, oh man, like I'm real hot shit right now. Working with youth just like slaps you back down. Like, no, you're just like this old lame guy. So, just stay humble and be ready to keep up with the times, because it's we live in such an ever-evolving, really quick, fast-paced world. So that's been like the biggest thing. Young people keep me on my toes, and they keep me humble.
That's great. Gems right there. Thank you, Patrick, man, for all that you do. We're going to get into the challenge of the week, though, before you go. Every week, we obviously have our artists give out an artistic challenge for everybody that's at home. Really excited about this challenge. So we'll let you get into that one, Patrick, here. There we go. Challenge of the week. And off you go, man.
All right. Challenge of the week, everyone. So what I would like you to do is take a photograph. But not just any photograph. What I want to challenge you to do is to take a photograph of a person, whether it's yourself, a friend, or some rando on the street. The biggest thing you want to do with this is tell a story with it. So when you take this photograph, when you take this portrait, think about the expression that the person has, the way they're sitting or standing, what the background is saying, the lighting. So play with all of these and really pay attention, because a lot of us might not think very hard when we just snap a photo because we think it looks good, but this is a big challenge that will make you a better photographer, a better cinematographer, director. Really think about the story. So tell a story with one photograph. That's a challenge.
So there you have it. We got the challenge coming courtesy of Patrick Shannon. Photo. We're definitely going to ensure that we drop. We're going to drop a few resources for everybody here in the comment box. The Create to Learn app is one of the resources that we're dropping, but also the Empath YouTube tutorial page that also has some workshops around photography specifically to help people maybe with some of their technical skills, using a camera or even just using their phone, you know what I mean? And how you can get like amazing quality just from using a phone. So there's some tips and tricks that we're going to drop right there. Patrick, thank you so much for coming out. I mean, shall I say how Patrick?
I definitely for having me.
Oh man, it's great to have you, bro. And I know that we haven't really talked too much since COVID hit, but it's always a great way to connect. I know that we're going to be doing some work in the near future with Angel Bearable on their upcoming music video, so that's super exciting. And we were the mobile production studio still plugging away for next year, man. So we're definitely gonna be talking more about that. But until then, man, I mean, are there some projects that people could look out for that you're working on that's coming out?
Yeah, I've got a new podcast coming out here pretty soon. I've been working on it, really gestating it for the past couple of months, but it'll be out here soon, called Education for Settlers, where I bring on other Indigenous voices to really try and answer a lot of the questions that people might have, but might be too afraid to ask about Indigenous people. Ooh. So what do we call you? How do reservations work? Like, people might know like the basics, but maybe don't understand fully, why things are like they are, what they're allowed to talk about. So this is trying to be a guide for anyone who's not sure about Indigenous topic.
Okay, that's great. Is that going to be a live podcast, or is that something you're pre-recording and then disseminating? Yeah. Okay, amazing. And where is that going to be available? Because I want to definitely get my ears on that one.
Yeah, follow me on my Instagram. At Hey Patrick Shannon, and I'll be dropping a link there, and it'll be on Spotify, Apple Music, all that kind of stuff eventually. But yeah, follow me on Instagram and you'll be up to date with all my projects.
There it is, man. So make sure you go follow Hey Patrick Shannon on the Instagram. Definitely check Patrick out. I'm looking forward to that show. Thank you for coming on the show. Appreciate you and all that you do, brother. And we'll definitely keep in touch, man.
All right. Take it easy.
Take it easy, man. All right, everyone. So that was Patrick Shannon. Coming to us live from Haida Gwaii, sharing tons of gems and also sharing a little of that Haida language. Super excited about having him on the show, so shout out to him. And we got the official challenge. And so for all of the people at home that are wondering about the challenge, what we want to do is well, you know what? We're just going to make this, and this is going to be the challenge of the week. Make sure that we're going to drop a bit more information. If you do have any comments or questions pertaining to this week's challenge, definitely feel free to send us a direct message. Reach out to us. We're on our social media 24/7. So if you have a question about the challenge this week, make sure you reach out. Or if we're going to be posting an official kind of promotion around this challenge, feel free to share this with youth or people that you think would love to engage with the Windcarriers Challenge show. Because we're halfway through it. We're not even halfway there. I think this might be the halfway. Oh yeah, we just passed the halfway mark of this show. So we have a lot of challenges that are up and coming. It's in all artistic disciplines. This week it happens to be photography, but everyone's got a phone. Most people have a camera. So definitely want to get more people involved with this. Super exciting to get this challenge underway. And we're definitely going to be promoting that throughout the week. But feel free to send us a message if you want to get more information. So that'll essentially conclude today's show. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. And yeah, we're gonna see you all next week. To play us out, we're gonna replay the N'we Jinan artist song Blood Memories, courtesy of the youth of Long Lake First Nation, Ontario. Yeah, man. So everyone, shout out to everyone. Hope everyone's doing great. And yeah, we'll catch y'all next week. There you go.
I'm blessed for the teachings that were passed on to me. They led me down a path that helped me to see. When I'm feeling pain and experiencing grief, I'm painting my feelings to help set it all free. Everything's changing nowadays. This generation's starting to forget the old ways. We still have love, honesty, respect. Still trying to keep it in check before we forget. Yeah. feel connected when we see this blood memory gave us our identity. This is creator's grand design that's combined our minds to define our bloodline. Grew up healing, but all these feelings keep getting in the way. There is nobody near, I want you all here, everything will be okay.
Way up, hey up, hey, hey, 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 way up, hey up, hey.
Coming from catastrophe, emotions and capacity, controls been stolen from me, I want it given back to me. Coming from catastrophe, emotions and capacity, controls been stolen from me, I want it given back to me. Grew up healing, but all these feelings keep getting in the way. There is nobody near, I want you all here, everything will be okay.
Way up, hey up, hey, hey, way up, hey up, hey, hey, way up, hey up, hey, hey, way up, hey up,